Welcome to Microsoft Mechanics. On today's show, we'll explore the streamline update model between Office and Windows 10, upcoming changes to Office 365 system requirements so that your Office desktop apps can benefit from the latest Office 365 capabilities, and improvements that we're making to make it simpler to deploy and update Office 365 ProPlus on Windows 10. I'm joined again by Mesh from the Office 365 engineering team. Welcome back.
Thanks, Jeremy. Glad to be here.
So let's start with how we're aligning the update model between Office 365 ProPlus and Windows 10. Can you explain some of the new things that we're doing?
Yeah, certainly. We're making a change to the deferred channel cadence. And basically, we're moving from this 3 times a year delivery now down to twice a year delivery. This gives you more time to be able to support these builds within your environment while still receiving security updates on a monthly basis. This aligns the overall target delivery model with Windows 10 as well.
And if you want to continue to receive those monthly feature updates, of course, that option still stands. But to some extent here, both Windows and Office, they're both desktop technologies. People really think about them in the same cadence in terms of how we update them. We've been, though, developing the models similarly, but a little bit separately with the two product teams over the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's right. Practically speaking, that's because the rate in which we're evolving desktop experiences across Office and Windows has increased compared to what we're used to have in the on-prem world. From an Office perspective, the main driver here is to ensure that we're delivering the most secure and productive experiences with the latest apps and service innovations. And similarly for Windows, we're delivering a continuous up-to-date security model that leverages the cloud, such as Windows Defender, Advanced Threat Protection, as well as other cloud-connected experiences, such as mixed reality.
And it makes a lot of sense to bring Office and Windows together, because if you're an IT admin, desktop updates are usually going in tandem, so we think about our operating systems and our client apps.
That's right. We want to take this opportunity to streamline both models, especially as more people are moving to Windows 10 and Office 365 ProPlus together.
So how does this new update model actually work?
The best way to explain this is visually. We'll target the first release of the deferred channel to be delivered twice a year, first in March and then in September. 4 months after the first release, this particular build reaches its final release and will live for another 14 months. During this process, the build continues receiving security and reliability updates monthly, and will also continue to release new builds every 6 months.
But there are also updates coming to the way that we think about how Office desktop clients connect to Office 365 services. Can you explain that?
Yes. So increasingly, Office desktop clients are being more service connected. Let me explain by showing you. So now what we've seen here is we have the ability to connect to more services in the back end. For example, I have the ability to see my most recently used files, so I don't have to figure out where I actually saved them last.
And it's coming from OneDrive for Business or SharePoint. I have to go to the browser to see those things.
That's correct. In addition to that, now I can have the ability to look at my version history. I can see who's modified it. I can even open my last versions so I can see and understand the changes that were even made in Word here.
Another great info from SharePoint.
That's correct. And then now in PowerPoint and with the integration with Skype for Business, it gives me the ability to see who's in my presentation at the moment, collaborating with me, and I can have a quick conversation with both of them at that same time. And beyond that, in Excel, we've been able to see a lot of things, a lot of connectivities with machine learning, so I could do things like sentiment scores and be able to see how my products and services are actually running in my organization. Finally, we've done some additional things with SharePoint, and by taking the DLP policies and giving me tooltips to ensure that all my privacy and information is protected with my organization.
In addition, this will also work in Outlook, but we haven't even talked about Outlook, and Outlook's one of those things where we can connect to Exchange, SharePoint, Skype. All those things are in Outlook clients as well.
That's correct, and more we're bringing new services and capabilities into all of our services and clients.
And just to emphasize what you're saying here, these capabilities were built in the cloud and they were introduced over the last couple of years since Office 2010 and available in desktop clients when they connect to Office 365.
Right, and to ensure reliability and secure connectivity of Office desktop apps with Office 365 services means that we need to keep your Office desktop client in line with the service updates.
So how does all this affect Office 365 system requirements for Office desktop, especially if you're using older versions of Office?
As I mentioned, the service keeps evolving. Think of Office 365 ProPlus as an app extension of the Office 365 services. But for this to work well, we want to help you establish a standard desktop environment. There are practical reasons for this. For example, from a security perspective, we're retiring support for RPC over HTTP in Office 365 ProPlus. It's been replaced by a more cloud-aware protocol, such as MAPI over HTTP. In this case, it means that you'll need to be on a build of Outlook that supports this MAPI protocol.
And that's really just one example. You'll also see that as of 2020, your connectivity to Office 365 services from your perpetual Office clients will require mainstream support or use of Office 365 desktop clients to be able to connect to the services. But let's switch gears here for a little bit. And I know that we're doing a lot in terms of the deployment process around getting updates deployed. So some of the work that you're doing there.
We think about three things: user training, application compatibility, as well as deployment and update management tools. First, we want to be able to reduce the overall training burden and do what we can to inform Office users about what's new by showing you a what's new panel in every time you receive a new update. And we're only going to get smarter about this by exposing what you actually have within your service environment. In addition to that, we're also integrated into the Windows Upgrade Analytics, where you can get a full inventory of all your Office add-ins within your enterprise. This gives you a great sense of what you actually have and what you have to manage as you go through an upgrade or even through some of your updates.
It's great to see that we're addressing the user training as well as the app compat concerns here. And you can get a longer overview of this by watching a recent Microsoft Mechanics show on Windows Upgrade Analytics. But I know we're doing a lot of work in terms of deployment. Can you explain what's new there?
Yeah, certainly. So we've done a lot of work with System Center Configuration Manager. And if you have up to version 16.10, you're going to see a lot of greatness here where we introduce the Office 365 Client Management Dashboard, which gives you a single place to view kind of your entire environment, how many devices you've actually have deployed, what versions are available there, languages, as well as what channels these devices are receiving their updates from. Now, in 1702, which was recently released, we included the Office 365 Client Installer. This basically gives your Office deployment tool a new view, and it gives you ability to target and deploy packages.
Something I've personally received a lot of questions about. Yes, it's finally here. Great.
So here I'm going to give you an example of just, I'm going to say finance. I'm going to send it out to the deferred channel and then be able to download it to a local host. And from here, I can be able to take any of my existing configuration files, or I can just start new, which we'll start with this for this demo. As you can see here, similar to the Office deployment tool, I can pick the actual product that I want to be able to deploy, ProPlus, for example, and I can also exclude certain applications. Most users don't actually need access, and therefore administrators take that out. I can also have add-on products such as Visio Pro or even Project Pro for that particular package itself.
What this is actually doing behind the scenes is kind of authoring what we used to do with the config XML file, right?
That's correct. And it gives me the flexibility to choose things like my architecture, the channel that I would like to deploy from, or even the actual build. And this is all cloud connected, so as we have new builds posted to our CDN, this automatically gets updated with that information.
Great.
And finally, I have ability to set the particular languages that my users are going to have. And then from there, I could just use the existing workflows that System Center already has to either target a set of machines or advertise to my organization.
And not just the existing workflows, but you're also using your config manager infrastructure distribution points to push those bits out. So making it really, like the rest of your software deployments. It's really great seeing all the support come into Configuration Manager. And these are some really important updates about how we manage Office. But where can people go to learn more if they've got any additional questions?
Well, for more information on the Office update model and the updates to the Office 365 system requirements, you can join us on the tech community to find the answers to your questions or pose new ones. And lastly, once you're ready to upgrade to your desktops, Fast Track, which is a free service for qualifying Office 365 customers, is an excellent resource to take advantage of.
Lots of great resources. Thanks for joining us today at Mesh. And also keep watching Microsoft Mechanics for the latest tech updates across Microsoft. And thanks for watching.